Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property.
Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up in their names, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about the steps that I took in order to become rich, successful, and really be carefree within my entire life. And sometimes it feels bad to say that. It really does. Sometimes it feels like, damn, I shouldn't talk like that, because people tell you all the time, you shouldn't talk about that. It sounds like you're bragging. It sounds like you got ego. It sounds like you got this. It sounds like I'm telling the truth. I am carefree. I don't have any stress in my life. When I go to work, do I have a boss? Do I have a manager? Sure. Do I need to clock in? No. Right? Every single day, not every single day, but there are days where I'm like, yo, especially when I go on vacations. It's like, why do I have to come back? I got passive income. I got all these things coming in. You don't have to work, Festus. You don't. I don't. And so, you know, when you say, you know what, I'm going to be me, but I'm not going to compromise my values. And if I ever feel offended, if I ever feel like enough is enough, I can pack up and walk away. No problemo. ¿Tú entiendes? So for me, it's really nothing at all. It's really nothing at all. The biggest thing for me with coming back to the States even was, one, all my family was here, and then two, to make more money. Because if you make more money, you have more money to spend. But yo, in order to get to where I'm at, I had to be frugal. And when you got money and the money starts making you money, then guess what? You got a lot more money. And so when your money starts making you money, that's when everything changes. They always say the first million is the hardest. The first million is the hardest. Why don't the second take as long? Why doesn't the second million take just as long? It's because you already got something working for you, guys. When you got $1 million in the bank and it goes up 1%, that's $10,000. To me, it's like, so what? So what? But I knew years. It took like 2 years for me to get 10 grand in my account once. Now you can wake up tomorrow and it's a $10,000 increase in your account. Just off of 1%. So when I talk about money, you got to understand that, yeah, the job might not pay you as much as your investments do, but it also helps that you're not pulling from your investments. And so your investments continue to grow. And therefore, you are on a different stratosphere than most people. Most people. So let's talk about it. I say this all the time. But when I first started, I'm thinking back to my college days. I was watching Graham Stephan. I was watching, who's the guy that has the hijab? I was watching Jeffrey Singh. I was watching this dude who played with like magic cards and would show his Robinhood account over $100,000 or $300,000 at the time. Yeah, I was watching those guys. I was listening to them talk. I was intrigued by the fact that Graham used to be a real estate agent. I was intrigued by the fact that he was very, very frugal, even more so than I am. I was intrigued by the fact that the rich didn't want to spend so much money. I was intrigued by the fact that, you know, and let me tell you something, guys. For a kid who grew up with holes in his shoes, for a kid who grew up trying to jump over water puddles so that my socks wouldn't get wet. For a kid that grew up knowing I couldn't buy the newest Jordans when everybody else was walking to school looking flea, looking fly, looking everything in between. For a kid that grew up and knew that the best I could do on Valentine's Day was a slice of dollar pizza and a teddy bear with a card at most. And that probably took me months to save for. For a kid that grew up like that, I knew that what would make me happy is not saying no to people that are inviting me out or telling me to buy this or telling me to buy that. But what would make me happy is saying no and having the money to actually do it. Because when you say no and you can't do something, that hurts a little different. Because you really don't have the ability to be out there. You really don't have what it takes to be out there. For most people, they can always say yes because they don't mind credit card debt. They don't mind bankrupting their life tomorrow to live today. But for me, I never thought like that. I didn't bust out the credit card to pay for that dollar slice. I made sure I had that money, even if it was a crumpled up dollar. I said, yeah, here you go. And I made sure I had what I needed at that time in order to live free of stress. And so when I said, here's that dollar, and I had that girl beside me, I was living within my means, doing what I could, and she was definitely there for me because it wasn't because I was balling, right? So, you know, I had the best of both worlds. You realize though, most people who are in your life, they're going to be in your life because they actually like you. It's not because of what you can do, what you can afford, what you can bring. When people say, what do you bring to the table? It's because they don't know who you are. You haven't stimulated their life enough. You haven't done anything tangible within their life to where providing something of value financially is important to them. So when I look at things in I am so grateful that I can do and I choose not to do because it is a choice, right? Fess, why don't you go to Jamaica with everybody? I don't want to. I got three trips booked. I ain't about to do a fourth. Fess, why don't you go to this game and watch Michigan play? I don't want to. I don't like Michigan that much that I want to see them play. Right? And so when we talk about things, it's like, listen, if I want to do it, I can, but I'm not going out of my way to do something I don't want to do. And so we're at a point in our lives where you have to start really, really trying to dissect what it is your goals in life are and not trying to look rich, but actually be rich. A lot of people are on social media trying to warn you, your friends are not rich, your friends are broke, this and that. But why do you even care? Why do you even care? Right? Why are you so worried about what your friends is doing instead of worrying about your pockets and your money? I don't feel bad when I tell a friend, yo, I can't make it out. I'm not going out, in fact. I'm playing the crib. That's what we say. I'm playing the crib. I'm staying at home. There's a lot of stuff that I paid for that I'm not using. There's a lot of stuff I got the TV off right now. I got the massage chair off right now. I got a whole lot of stuff off right now. The PS5 is off right now. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I could be using that I pay for. Right? And so when I'm saying all this, I say all that to say, like, you don't have to party at my house. I really be having a good time. We had Super Bowl weekend here, had the hookah going, had food from all over. People was here until 2:30 in the morning. Having a good time, right? Like, sometimes you can really create the environment instead of going to the environment. And so let me talk about some hard facts, because we 9 minutes in and I haven't even told y'all how I got to this stage in my life where not only am I financially free, not only am I really, really successful, but I also don't have to worry about nothing. And it's because, one, only listen to people who are doing better than you. That's financially, that's mentally. And a lot of people might fake it until they make it in both of those aspects. But just because someone says they're doing good mentally, is it mentally how you want to be? Is it how you want your future to look? For example, some guy might be living his best life, bachelor. Some guy might be married. Which path do you want to go down? Some guy might be doing it in real estate. Another might be doing it in the stock market. Which one do you want to go down? Do you want to be hands-on? Do you want to be more passive? And both might be active, or both might be passive. One guy might be very social. One guy might be antisocial. You might have to work harder for the antisocial. You might not have to work hard at all for the passive, for the social. Which one do you want to be? One guy might be in the dirt, literally in the dirt, in the mud, in order to get 6 figures a year. Another guy, he wouldn't touch that with a stick. Which one do you want to be? And guys, you meet a lot of people along the journey. When you start spending money, especially when I was doing my basement remodel, you start to see people who are making millions of dollars a year. How they doing it? Building companies, doing this, doing that in order to get ahead. Dealing with people, complaining about pricing, all that stuff. And then you start to realize, am I getting the best service? Because if you're getting the best service, you don't necessarily complain about the price of the service, right? When you start complaining about the price of the service, that means the service isn't as good as what you would like it to be, right? So are they not hiring the best people for the job, or are their prices too high for what they're actually capable of doing? And so I say all that to say, that's like looking at McDonald's now. You got burgers that cost $13. I might as well make it at home. Guys, I ate at least 5 burgers in the last 2 weeks. All at home. That burger meat probably cost me $30. I still got more. I still got more. Right? I had to cook it all down just the other day. I literally had some just now before this video. And so I'm saying, like, what's the point of even doing that? And so thankfully, I know how to cook. Thankfully, I was a manager of multiple restaurants for multiple years, and I actually got a couple of skills. Like, I can make a nice burger, and it had peppers in it. It had Mexican cheese all over it. I even poured some hot honey with some ketchup and mayo and pepper. Oh, my goodness. Pickles, all that good stuff. On a nice sesame seed bun. Your boy be eating good every day. I even got a channel called Eat with Festus if you want to check that out on TikTok. But your boy be eating good every single day. So again, listen and look at people that you want to be like. Don't have people come into your life saying, oh, you should do this, you should do that, with a nice smile on their face. Yeah, they may be successful, but do you want to be like them? 9 times out of 10, you probably don't. 9 times out of 10, you probably don't. And I'm not saying that pick one flaw and say, oh, I don't want to be like that person. No. Because a lot of the times, everybody has a flaw that you don't necessarily like. But for the most part, if the lifestyle is what you want, then go for that. But again, 9 times out of 10, these people are not qualified to give advice to another human being, right? If you're in it with bad credit, or if you don't have good credit, but you're teaching people on credit or trying to get people out of debt, you're not qualified to be giving advice. If you are underwater on multiple properties because you went for appreciation over cash flow, you're not qualified to give advice on real estate. If you are losing money in options trading, you're not qualified to give money in the stock market. If you are spending all of your money on gambling or women or whatever, you're not qualified to speak on money. You're not qualified to speak on it. And so you got to really have discernment and start to look at people for what they are. You see, people ask me all the time, they're like, oh, How many people do you manage their accounts? I tell them all the time, I don't manage people's accounts. I don't manage accounts for nobody. I might tell you what to invest in, but I'm not going to do it for you. You know what they do? They sit back, they bust a smile. And you know the thing is, like, I know people, and this hasn't happened to me, but I don't want it to happen to me. You know what's the difference between me managing somebody else's money and managing my own? When it's my money, I have to take my time, do my due diligence, and really be effective. When it's somebody else's money, people get relaxed, they get lazy, they don't work as hard. So yeah, I can make 28, 30% returns every single year, but it's my money. Warren Buffett said that you would not be able to achieve better returns than the S&P 500 for over a 10-year period. I did it. But other financial analysts and financial investors did not. I don't believe I'm smarter than every single one of those guys. But the difference is they were playing with other people's money and I was working with my own. That is really the crux of it all. Why was I able to get 30% returns year over year over year over year for 10 good years? It's because I was not playing with my money, but managing my money. That's the difference. So I don't manage other people's money. The only person in my life that I even touch a little bit of their money is my mother. Because I know I could tell her until she's blue in the face, she's not going to do a thing, okay? She's just going to be like, son. And so you got to take care of mom, right? You got to take care of mom. And so even that is an extension of me because of the love that I so have for my mom. There's no way I'm going to look at that like, oh, that's just somebody else's money to play around with and move. No. You're going to ensure that every investment is the right investment when it comes to mom, right? You're going to ensure that everything is going in the right place and as it should be. Just the same way as I would work for myself, maybe even harder than I would work for myself, because I got to ensure a profitable return year over year. And every now and then I'll check in with her and I'll be like, hey, it's went up this much. Hey, it's went up that much. Hey, investing in this Series I bond right now is doing pretty good. Hey, pull your money out of the Series I bond. It's no longer a feasible investment. It's doing less than the savings accounts that you have. All of that stuff is what we talk about. All of that stuff is what I get into. And so next thing is when you've already started to look at the people that you want to be like, that you want to emulate, that you want that type of lifestyle, next thing is to start to really separate yourself from every and anything that can be distracting, especially in the short term when you're first getting started. Because all those distractions are going to stop you from getting to your main goal. Another thing that you want to eliminate is the thought in your head that it's going to take so long for you to get ahead. Because I love finance, so it's easy for me to do finance. But for someone else, it's going to be boring. It's going to be tedious. It's going to be hard. It's going to be something that they don't want to do. That's why they get so lazy. I'm just going to put all my money in the S&P 500. And yes, I would tell most people, put your money in the S&P 500 because they're not investors. They're not investors. And because they don't know nothing, I just say, hey, put your money in the S&P 500, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Over 10 years, you're going to make money. And that's the truth. Over 10 years, you're going to make money. Is that the best strategy? No, because if it was, I would follow that strategy. People tell you all the time, don't be an individual stock trader. Don't be an individual ETF trader. Don't be an individual this. Diversify. Nothing is wrong with the advice that they're giving, especially to the masses, because the masses are stupid. And that's another thing. Do not be like the masses. How do you get rich? Do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. When everybody else is selling, you buy. When everybody else is buying, you sell. If everybody's buying, the price of everything is going up. I sell when it's up. If everybody is selling, price of everything is going down. I buy when it's down. It's very simple. You do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, and you know what happens to your net worth? It goes to the moon. You want to really know what goes to the moon? Your net worth. Not some crypto, but your net worth. Your net worth goes to the moon. When you do the opposite of speculation, when you actually get into the numbers, when you actually understand what this tangible business is doing, when you actually understand what everybody else around you is doing. Prices are dropping in real estate right now. Interest rates soon to follow. There's about to be a buying frenzy in the market. If you have a ton of property, it's a great opportunity to sell because it's going to be the highest prices probably ever in the history of America. And you know what happens when interest rates go back up? People sell at a discount. People can no longer afford the property taxes that's about to hit everybody. That's what nobody is talking about right now. It's the property taxes that's really going to hit everybody because the housing prices have already gone up so much. What's going to happen with these interest rates is that these property taxes are going to skyrocket again. And it already skyrocketed so much. Your insurance has gone up. Your property taxes has gone up. It's going to do that again on both fronts. Our senior citizens who may not have to pay taxes on their Social Security no more, they're going to be paying taxes on that property like they've never seen before. They're not going to be able to breathe. They're not going to be able to breathe. Our senior citizens will not be able to breathe. Everybody's looking at this opportunity, if you're my age, as a blessing. And it is for me. I'm going to capitalize. I'm going to be good. I'm going to make money, hand over fist, easy $300,000. But for people who are just sitting in their properties, it's going up. For people who's been renting, it's going up. It's going up like you've never seen before. Like you've never seen before. And if you think your rents are going to stay the same, it is not. It is not going to stay the same. And so you know what's going to shortly have to follow? Because everybody's going to get priced out. Because everybody's not going to be able to afford these rents. Because nobody actually paid off their mortgages. And they're all mortgaging their future. And so they got to rent at a higher price year over year over year over year in order to keep up with these property taxes going up. And insurance costs going up. You know who's going to suffer? Is going to be the employees. The employees. Because the last thing to increase is your wage. Property taxes go up. The doctors got to pay more to keep their buildings alive. They got to charge you more so your insurance costs go up. Your last thing to increase is your wage. And you know when it increases is when you're already struggling. It's when you're already dying. It's when you already know, man, if I don't leave this job, I'm finito. I'm finished. I can't last another month on this income. That is when everything changes. That's when they start to increase the minimum wage.